some districts already been fallen to the Taliban hands. Living here in scary and so in hurry what to do.
So these are some of the images which you are quite acquainted with, and you are able to see the chaos which has been created throughout the lands of Afghanistan and the terror which the people have been facing. Well, most of the world is not oblivion of whatever is going on in Afghanistan, where the world is basically facing a health crisis, a human crisis, and that too caused by our own human race, and kind of the humongous destructions which has been currently being faced over the people of Afghanistan is really heart-wrenching. Everyone, so by now you must have understood that I am here to be speaking about the lands of Afghanistan and the people over there in the context of the book The Kite Runner from Khaled Hosseini and also A Thousand Splendid Suns. So without further delay, let's dive into the video. I am quite serious with whatever situation has been currently prevailing into the lands of Afghanistan, but also considering the fact that the land of Afghanistan has always been war-torn between the US and also the Soviet. I've considered this book as the context of this video because it is necessary that we speak about the past of Afghanistan before we try to comment upon the present ongoing situation of the Afghanistan. Well, this book, I have made a special video about the whole storyline of this book. I have given the book summary so that you can easily check that out and know what is the story all about. Yet again, I will try to summarize the whole story in just one line. The story is all about Ali and Hassan, where Ali belongs to the land called the Pashtuns and Hassan belongs to the set called the Hazaras, where Pashtuns are the richer and the dominating set, and whereas the Hazaras are usually being oppressed. And during the Taliban attacks in the late 1960s, the whole land is devastated and Ali is forced to flee to Pakistan and then to America for a greater tomorrow. But whereas Hassan is left over there, and the storyline continues the fact that Ali returns back to Afghanistan to find the son of Hassan and take him back to America. Now the story is quite a gripping one and, to be honest, very heart-wrenching, but I cannot put myself into a situation to close my mouth and do not speak about the lands of Afghanistan or the chaos which has been created over there. I was firstly introduced to the lands of Afghanistan through this book. So I did a great research upon what was the past of Afghanistan and how do we understand the set of Taliban. If at all you are also in a situation to understand the crisis currently going on in Afghanistan, then you have to check out He Enabled Me Malala by Malala Yousafzai, who was awarded with the Nobel Peace Prize. If at all you read that book, you will clearly be able to understand what are the Taliban and what is their main agenda and how are they able to procure the ammunitions or how are they able to install such kind of fear among the people or the citizens. The other book which I found pretty convincing and interesting as well as much informative yet in least number of pages, and that was Taliban, the Story of the Warlords by Ahmad Rasheed. I found this book pretty informative with least number of pages, and also it has many historical context, so you can clearly check it out so as to understand the ethnic groups and how are the tribes which are being arranged and what are the sets, what are the castes and what are the various type of people or ethnic cultures are being maintained into the land of Afghanistan. Heartbreaking instances are what we are able to see from the lands of Afghanistan right now. The flights are fleeing, the people are trying to flee even through the aeroplanes, and there has been utter chaos which has been spreading. Now, if at all we want to understand what is currently happening into the lands of Afghanistan, we need to understand the history of Taliban too. Did you know the fact that the word called Taliban, which means student in their language, and it's supposed to be a student organization which was supposed to be installing a greater Islamic law and impose the Islamic rules in the lands of Afghanistan because they felt that the government of Afghanistan was under the control of the Soviets, and hence the communism was something which is spreading over the lands of Afghanistan. So people were the one who wanted these Talibans to form a government and instead install a greater government which has the rules of Islamic laws and also has a greater control over the citizens. At least people know the fact that there was a Soviet invasion of the Afghanistan, which has also been told about in this book. The Soviet invasion of the Afghanistan basically happened from the 1970s to the 1980s, where the army of the late USSR has tried to occupy the lands of Afghanistan and try to install a government within themselves because they felt that the communism was something which has to be spread in the lands of Afghanistan. But USA, that is the United States of America, had other plans, and they funded the Taliban groups, basically the rebels, so as to be defaming the government and try to make a coup against them so that they can have a greater war. And in this process there has been a large amount of Cold War going on between the US government and as well as the USSR. but the battlefield was Afghanistan. The loss was basically incurred by the people of Afghanistan. Now, I wanted to speak about this book lately because this shows the beauty of Afghanistan basically, and in the ongoing crisis, I really wanted to know, I really wanted the people to know how beautiful the land was and how historically and culturally this land was important. This book introduces a reader to the lands of Afghanistan because, as a concern the fact that it's a fiction book, you can clearly make out that the land is being described very picturesque, and apart from that, the author has done a stunning job in portraying the lands of Afghanistan, streets, bazaars, markets, people, and also the palatial bungalows which the people possess. But he also has given keen insights about how the lands have been divided, what are the various tribes, maybe Pashtuns or Hazaras, or their historical aspects. So for a person who wanted to keenly engross into the past of Afghanistan, this book is quite a recommendable. Many of the images which are currently being flashed over the internet or being flooded over the internet also share the fact that things are not going straight, in that many of the lands of Afghanistan have been already occupied by the Taliban, and of course the government has been installed over there. Considering the fact that the women's rights and the children's rights are completely being curbed, the world is expecting that the Taliban consider this fact and give a greater importance towards the women. Even considering the Islamic rules, women have to be given greater importance and also a place in the government. So I sincerely hope that at least at this junction of time where the world is moving fast ahead beyond war, the land is still war torn, and because of which the economical stability of Afghanistan has already been destroyed. Many of the grayling aspects from the lands of Afghanistan are currently not being circulated into the social media, all because of the media has been curtailed and being imposed with the certain restrictions. Hence, because of which many of the heart-wrenching aspects are not being surfaced, but the book speaks explicitly about all those, especially the later half of the book explicitly speaks about the whole bloodshed and the whole exploitation of the people, and how the Taliban are clearly making their way into the lives of the people. Now, the Taliban in the kite is basically Asif, who is the one who molested Hassan while they were in their childhood, and Hassan gradually grows into a very radical person. And considering the fact that Hassan is also a Pashtun, he is clearly having he's having anti-ethnical ideologies, and he wants that ethical cleansing has to be done of all the Hazaras because they have polluted their land. And Asif in this book is the one who I clearly hate, and the way he has been portrayed too also instills fear into you while you're reading into this book. So that's all, guys. I wanted this video to be informative and also related to book, and I really request you all to please go through the writings of Khaled Hosseini because they reflect the plight of their Afghanistan and also lets you understand more what is actually happening in the lands of Afghanistan. If you read the book in a historical context and then understand the crisis currently going on, you will be clearly able to judge what is wrong and what is right. So we'll be meeting you in our next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.